Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's card making video, I am using some fun products to make a Slimline Valentine's card from Trinity Stamps. The first thing I'm using is the Room Builder die set. It creates this die cut and embossed panel that looks like wood flooring and some paneling on the wall. There's also these other pieces you can use as the baseboard and the railing for that wall paneling. You have dies that cut out windows. There's several different options. I use the largest rectangle and the inner rectangle to that to make this window frame. There's also a die you can die cut twice to make curtains, and even a little tiny curtain rod. So cute. So those are the pieces I'll be using from that Room Builder die set. I'm going to do some ink blending across the bottom of this panel to have my floor be gray. So I'm using Distress Oxide Hickory Smoke, just masking off the top portion of that with some Post-it notes. And then I'm using a traditional style mini blender to blend that ink across the bottom. I love that this die makes those embossed lines to look like wood planks, and it's even directional, so it looks like it's set back, like it has a 3D feel to it. It's such a cool die. If you love building scenes, you'll probably love it as much as I do. So that is the floor, quick, easy, and simple. And then I'm going to take the Post-it notes away and add some to the bottom half so I can do some ink blending on the top. Now, if you saw my most recent Trinity Stamps video where I made a little gnome Valentine, you have seen this technique before, and with the same colors and the same stencil set, but I am using a smaller stencil this time, so I guess it's a little different. But I'm putting down a really light layer of the Distress Oxide ink and Spun sugar, and then when that is all even, then I'm going to take the polka dot stencil. Now this is a set of 4. It's a Slimline polka dot stencil set, and this is the smallest of the polka dots in that set. There's also one that has polka dots that go from this size to tiny, 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 and then they get bigger, 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 like a comic book style polka dot. I hope I'm explaining that right. But anyways, it's a very cool stencil set. I'll link it for you below so you can check it out. And I'm going to go over the top of this blended panel with the same color ink, Spun sugar. And this time I'm going in with a little bit heavier hand so those polka dots will show up really good on top of this panel. And it's going to be more subtle than if I were to go directly onto white paper with the stencil and the pink. And I feel like it just tones down this a little bit, which is what I wanted for some kitchen wallpaper for a Valentine cottage kitchen. All right, so now I'm going to take that largest rectangle die and die cut out a window shape, and then I'll have an opening there in my kitchen that I'm going to fill in. So what I'm going to do is from the back I will glue down a piece of vellum, and that will give me kind of that window feel. And then I can take the window frame that I already die cut and glue this in. Now, because I used the largest die for my window, this piece is going to nest inside of that. So I'm actually gluing this down to the vellum. I'm going to add my curtain rod next, and then I was ready to glue on my curtains, but realized I probably needed to put in that railing. So it was a little test in how straight I could do glue. I had to go super slow. I'm not gonna lie. I had to speed this part up because to get it even close to straight, I had to go super slow. It was a lesson in patience, and I passed. But you know, I didn't have any left for the rest of the day. No more patience after that. So then I added in the floorboard, the little baseboards there, and then my curtains I'm going to pop up with foam squares, and I already love how this came together. I love it so much. But we're going to set that aside and bring in the Cottage Kitchen stamp set. Now this is about the cutest thing ever. I wanted to stamp every single image in this set, but I held off. I only stamped some, and then I stamped some more, but I didn't use all of the pieces. It's just, I don't know, critters and food things make me really happy. Those are the things I want to stamp all the time. So you can see I stamped some extra muffins, and then I had to throw in the utensils and the rolling pin as well. So now let's set to coloring in our images. For my largest bear, I have E25 as my lightest color. Then I bring in my darkest, which is E47, to throw in some shadows. I'm going to blend that out with my E27, my mid-tone marker, and then I always come back in with my lightest marker, in this case E25, and blend out all the things. And that is going to give me the look I want for this bear. And I'm going to move on to coloring the apron. So I'm sticking with like red and pink and gray and brown for this particular card. And I think I'm loving the pink and red mix combo for Valentine's this year because I've already used it a couple times. And then for my countertop, I decided to go with kind of like a stainless steel look. I started with C0 as my lightest color, then I'm bringing in C4 as my darkest, and then I'm going to blend that out with C2 and just have it have a center highlight so it looks kind of shiny. My sister has some stainless steel countertops in her kitchen, and so that's what gave me the idea, inspired me. I'm going to have the bottom half of this counter look just like it's white, so I'm adding in some shadows with C2 and C0, and even I think I brought in my C00 to soften out that edge. And then you could go over that again with your colorless blender if you wanted to soften out the edges even more. Now let's talk about a red oven. If you watched any of my Christmas card videos, you already know that I think a red oven is super cool. I would love to have like a vintage kitchen, which I totally do not, but I think that it's super duper cute, and I would love to have a red oven. I would like remodel my kitchen around a red oven, but I'm happy with the oven I have for now. So I had to make this oven red for my Valentine's themed kitchen, and you can see the markers that I use there up on the screen, and I'm now coloring in these little muffins. So I colored the paper with the lightest color, and then I brought in the darkest to add a few little lines to give it the feel of like a muffin paper or cupcake paper. For the muffins themselves, I'm using my same browns, E25, E27, and then I'm going to bring in even my darkest color, the E47, and add some dots. Now this could be like texture or it could be chocolate chips. You know, it's up to you, whatever the bears decide to make that day. For my fridge, I thought if I have a red oven, why not a pink fridge? So I'm going to do the outer edge in pink and then have the doors be the stainless steel color. So I'll use the same exact colors that I used for my countertop when I do the doors of the fridge. And I thought it was kind of fun to have a two-tone fridge. And that's what's fun about coloring a kitchen. You can do all your little wild fantasy colors for a kitchen and see how they look. All right, for the little guy, I am coloring in my lightest color of E13, and then I'll have my darkest color be E27 and my lightest E25, just to give them a little variation between each other. One's darker, one's lighter, and I used C8 for their little noses. And then I colored out all the other small things very simply, but with the same colors, and there you can see them all die cut out and ready to go on my card. So my next step I like to do is to just kind of lay things out. Now when I very first start planning my card and have an idea, I sketch it out in this little notebook that I have, and so I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do, but when I lay it out, sometimes I realize, oh, I have way too many images, or I need something else here, or that's not going to fit how I thought it would. So this is just, you know, me kind of planning it out, and that's what works for me. So once I have it all figured out, then I can go in and start adhering things, and it kind of helps me figure out like what I'm going to pop up with foam squares and whatnot. So I am popping up the counter, and then I'm adding on some books and my mama bear, and then I will add on those muffins. They're, you know, home baking some treats for their neighbors. I love doing that. And it's gotten a little different. Like I don't feel as close to my neighbors now that we've been in, you know, confinement, so to speak. And I feel like, you know, giving handmade treats is like, you really got to know the person. Not everybody's just going to want like, oh, muffins from the girl down the street, you know, during this time. But I'm not going to lose hope on it. I think soon we'll be able to start doing all of those things again. So there is my kitchen all coming together. I really love it. It's just fun and cheery, and a fun take on a Valentine's card, especially if you were going to give somebody a little treat. And now I'm just going to bring all the little images to life with my white gel pen. It's my favorite part of coloring. Like when I get towards the end of coloring, I get all excited because I'm going to add in my white gel pen. It just brings everything a little touch of shine, and I love the look. I did a little ink blending on my card base, which is 8.5 by 7.5, scored at 3.5, so I have a little blue showing through my window there, and that was with Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink. And that finishes off today's card. I hope that you enjoyed it. And this stamp set was originally meant for Christmas, so don't be afraid to pull out your stamps and think of using them in a different way, like for Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Everything I used is listed and linked for you below if you would like to check that out. I have new videos all the time, so if you're not subscribed, think about doing that, and then you can ring the bell and YouTube will let you know next time I have a new video. I'll see you all soon. Happy stamping. Bye.